All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er injury update and what it all means for Monday Night Football. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Get the brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. Go say hi to Damon and Mary and check out Pig and a Pickle. And, of course, this video brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up using the link in the description and the promo code Krug, and they'll match you up to $100. This week in Underdog Fantasy, I'm going Chris Olave, lower than 62.5 receiving yards. Travis Etienne Jr., higher than 63.5 rushing yards. Derek Carr, lower than 238.5 passing yards. Alvin Kamara, lower than 53.5 rushing yards. And Devin Lloyd of the Jaguars, higher than 6 tackles and assists combined. All right, well, the Niners got some good news yesterday when Adam Schefter tweeted out that Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, and Deebo Samuel's injuries all put them potentially in line to play on Monday night. Now, Trent Williams has a low ankle sprain. That was the key one. He got rolled up on. You guys saw it on Sunday in Cleveland. At first, the fear was, oh, man, maybe it's a knee, but it looked like a right lower ankle sprain for Trent. And they're saying he could be good to go Monday night on the turf against Danielle Hunter, who's got 8 sacks. And to me, this is the biggest injury question for the 49ers going into this game with Minnesota. Why? Well, because you do have Danielle Hunter, and Hunter's having an amazing year. Danielle Hunter is just playing as well as almost any defensive end in the game right now, not named Myles Garrett. Hunter, got a new contract, and man, he is playing fast and physical. He flies off that edge, and he's got great get off, long levers, and tremendous strength. And you could see he's in maybe the best shape of his life. Danielle Hunter is going to be no picnic for anybody, but you got to have Trent Williams. And that's why you got to have Trent Williams to neutralize Danielle Hunter. He's a game wrecker. He can ruin Brock Purdy's night all by himself. Now, the other issue is Jalen Moore is the backup there. And I think Moore I don't think he can handle Hunter, to be honest. And I think if it is Jalen Moore having to go in that game and not Trent Williams, I think the Niners have to alter their whole game plan. I think you got to run away from Danielle Hunter. I think you got to think, get the ball out quick. You got to think that way anyway. But with Jalen Moore there, I'm not saying he's a turnstile, but he's not Trent Williams. And that will be a monumental thing to watch for here when the Niners begin practice on Thursday. Practice schedule this week is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, leading into the Monday Nighter. Now, Christian McCaffrey, the MRI yesterday was done on his oblique/rib injury. And, McCaffrey has been used a ton. He's got 133 touches thus far for the 49ers, far and away their number one usage of any player on their offense all year. And to me, I think if I were the 49ers in this game, I would just try to, even if McCaffrey can go, and it sounds like he might be able to go Monday night, I would still plan to have Ty Davis-Price up, and I would use Jordan Mason and Elijah Mitchell. Now, Kyle Shanahan was asked about his confidence level in Jordan Mason and immediately started talking about his confidence level in Elijah Mitchell. So in Kyle's mind, Mitchell's the starter if McCaffrey can't go, and Mason and then Davis-Price come next on the depth chart. I think that Mitchell has not quite looked as explosive or as confident. He's had one run this year where he looked like the Elijah Mitchell of old. But he's definitely trustworthy. He's not going to fumble. He knows he's got great instincts, pick and slide. He knows how to pick a hole. He will hold on to the football. That much we know. And so maybe that gives him the slight edge. But I think if I'm the 49ers in this game, even if CMC can go, I'm thinking backfield by committee. I'm thinking, some runs to Ray, some Jordan Mason, some Elijah Mitchell, some Ty Davis-Price, maybe a direct snap to Juszczyk. I'm thinking of creative ways and we'll see about Deebo. We'll talk about him in a second. I'm looking for creative ways to run that aren't using Christian McCaffrey. And I would love to see Jordan Mason get at least 10 carries, whether he starts or not. He's big, he's physical, he's fast. And to me, he's on the verge of a bust out, but he needs the opportunity, needs the carries. And I'd like to see him get him in this game, even if CMC can go. And then the third guy, of course, is Deebo Samuel. And he hurt his shoulder on a jet sweep in Cleveland, the first play of the game, and stayed in for a bit and then had to come out. And I don't know exactly his physical status for this week, but they're thinking that he can go. There's no question Deebo is with McCaffrey being heavily utilized and also dinged up, he would be the ideal weapon to feature in this game. But he's got a shoulder injury, and to what degree that shoulder injury is bothering him, I don't know. If I'm looking at the 49ers the way I'm looking at it, man, this is a great opportunity for the 49ers to use some other guys. Feature Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk's coming off of a bad game where he had 3 drops. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit to get back out there and show that he can be a true number one. There was no better player on the field this summer than Brandon Ayuk. So I would make this game a huge Brandon Ayuk game. I would feature him, but then I would use Ronnie Bell, and I would use Ray McLeod, and I would use Juwan Jennings. And if I got to call somebody off the practice squad, I'll use a Willie Snead. I'll use a Tay Martin. I'll use a Chris Conley. I like the 49ers depth at wide receiver. And I would use those guys. Feature Ayuk, use everybody. And even if Deebo's ready to go, maybe you spot him. Maybe you spot him a little bit here and there. Now, the trade deadline's coming up in the next couple of weeks, and wide receiver is one of those spots where the 49ers may look for help. If you said, what kind of player do they need? I mean, I've heard people suggest Kendrick Bourne, because New England's looking awful this year. Bourne's only 28. He's a former Niner. He's got 28 catches for 307 yards and 2 touchdowns this year. He's a plug-and-play player because he knows Kyle's system, and you could probably get Bourne for a late pick. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, so maybe that makes sense. But I'm thinking more along the lines of a complementary wide receiver. When everybody's healthy, the 49ers could use a vertical threat. They were hoping Danny Gray would emerge as that this year, but Gray has had more problems staying healthy and staying on the field. There's a couple guys out there. There's really 2 or 3 guys that I can think of. Arizona's got Hollywood Brown and Rondale Moore. Both those guys would be phenomenal fits. To me, Rondale Moore would be the guy that I would try to get at the trade deadline to add an explosive weapon to this mix. I think in a lot of ways he's the perfect guy. Now, are the Cardinals going to deal within the division? They may not want to. So the other guy that I think is interesting is McCole Hardman, the former Chief, who's now with the Jets. He's only 25. He's not very big. He's 5'10", 190 pounds. But McCole Hardman is got vertical speed. He's an effective deep threat. He's a really good gadget player. He's only got 1 catch on the year. And there's the talk is out of New York is that he is being shopped. So a guy like McCole Hardman could help the 49ers down the road. But as far as this weekend, Deebo's got the shoulder injury. As I said, he hurt it on that first play against the Browns last week and then had to come out of the game. The Niners have depth. They absolutely do. And we'll find out more when we see these guys, when we see the practice reports on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday leading into the Monday Nighter. But according to Schefter, Trent Williams, CMC, Deebo Samuel all could play on Monday night. None of those injuries are considered to be all that serious. Once again, I really want to play Trent Williams. And as far as CMC and Deebo, I'm okay with them being active, but I think I would utilize the depth. I think I would lean on the depth at running back and the depth at wide receiver and just try to not feature Deebo and CMC to the level they've been featured thus far. I think that would be my game plan going into this game Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Underdog Fantasy as well. Click that link in the description for Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code Krug. They'll match you up to $100. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.